If your dog gets stung by a bee, it's important to know how to identify and treat the sting. Bee stings can be painful and cause swelling, so it's best to be prepared in case of an emergency. In this blog post, we will discuss the symptoms of bee stings on dogs, how to treat them at home, and when you should see a veterinarian. Stay safe and keep your furry friend healthy. When a bee stings a dog, it injects a venomous substance into the dog's skin. The venom causes an allergic reaction in some dogs, which can lead to swelling, redness, and pain. In severe cases, the bee sting may trigger anaphylactic shock, which can be life-threatening. Symptoms of a bee sting on dogs: swelling at the site of the sting, redness, pain, sensitivity to touch, itching, hives, diarrhea, vomiting, wheezing, difficulty breathing. Treating a bee sting on dogs. If your dog has been stung by a bee, the first thing you should do is remove the stinger from the skin. To do this, carefully scrape the skin with a credit card or other blunt object until the stinger comes out. Do not pull the stinger out with your fingers, as this may release more venom into the skin. Once the stinger has been removed, wash the area with soap and water to remove any remaining venom. You can then apply a cold compress to the area to help reduce swelling. If your dog is in pain, you can give her a small amount of acetaminophen or ibuprofen. Do not give your dog aspirin, as this can cause stomach ulcers. If your dog is having difficulty breathing, she may be experiencing anaphylactic shock and needs immediate medical attention. Call your veterinarian or an emergency veterinary hospital immediately and follow their instructions. Anaphylactic shock requires treatment with intravenous fluids and epinephrine, so it is important to get help as soon as possible. Can bee stings be deadly to dogs? There are a lot of variables to consider when it comes to bee stings in dogs. The size and breed of the dog, as well as the severity of the sting, are all important factors. In general, however, bee stings are not deadly to dogs. While they can be painful and cause swelling, most dogs will recover without any serious complications. If your dog has been stung by a bee, watch for signs of an allergic reaction such as difficulty breathing or swallowing, excessive drooling, or collapse. If you see any of these symptoms, seek veterinary care immediately. With prompt treatment, most dogs will make a full recovery from a bee sting. How to prevent bee stings on dogs? Obviously, the best way to avoid a bee sting is to keep your dog away from bees. But that's not always possible, especially if you live in an area with a lot of bees. If you're going to be in an area where there might be bees, try to keep your dog on a leash so you can control. There are also some things you can do to make your dog less attractive to bees. First, don't use any perfumes or colognes on yourself or your dog. Bees are attracted to sweet smells, so they may think your dog is a flower if he smells like one. You should also avoid using any products that contain citrus oils or mint, as these can also attract bees. Will my dog be okay after a bee sting? The good news is that, in most cases, your dog will be just fine after being stung by a bee. The vast majority of bee stings are relatively minor and cause only temporary discomfort. However, there are a few things you should watch for, as some dogs may have a more severe reaction. How long does a bee sting last on a dog? Most bee stings will only last for a day or two and cause minor discomfort. If your dog is having a severe reaction to the sting, such as difficulty breathing, swelling of the face or neck, hives, or vomiting, you should seek emergency veterinary care. Bee stings can be painful and potentially dangerous for dogs, so it's important to be aware of the signs and symptoms and seek treatment if necessary. Do you have any questions or concerns about bee sting allergies in dogs? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Until next time, take care of yourself and your furry friends.